Welcome back to week 7, everybody. If you're new here, hi. Welcome to This Cat Can Ball, the show where we feature one person who's largely gone unknown, either to have been riding the bench for a while, being drafted late, or in some cases not drafted at all. But they decided to show up this week, so we're giving them their moment in the spotlight. What's new this week? Well, let's talk about what isn't new. The Cardinals are just kicking ass. They are 7-0, and I liked something that J.J. Watt said when he was quoted. That, to summarize the quote, people say like, well, the Cardinals won because maybe this person didn't play or this happened or so-and-so. And he says, maybe we're just that good. And that's how it's looking. These guys are just firing on all cylinders. And at 7-0, they're looking just as sharp as ever right into the middle of the season. And in the other conference, who is looking really good? Who is looking scary? Speaking of Halloween, they already have the colors orange and black. The Cincinnati Bengals are looking incredible. They are looking scary. Joey B is probably going to be in contention for, well, he's probably not going to win MVP, right? But he's going to be talked about for it. I talked about last week how Dak Prescott's probably vaulted up in the top 3. Joey B is probably got to be in the top 6. I think every time you mention something, if it's not top 3, top 5, or top 10, whatever number you choose is which number he's probably going to be. So if I say, I think Joe Burrow's, he's probably in the top 7 contenders for MVP. That means he's probably 7th, and he probably is. It would be something to see him win MVP, and Jamar Chase, who, if he keeps up everything, he's going to run away with Offensive Rookie of the Year. That guy is unbelievable. The LSU connection is super strong. It's whoever picked him up in the fantasy draft, you are killing it right now. On the topic of this past week, it was actually National Tight Ends Day, which means that a lot of tight ends just did unbelievably well. I think they knew that the week leading up to it, I don't know if you guys follow football on your social media, but there was a lot of build-up for the tight ends, and a lot of them had monster games. Actually, the winner of this week is our second tight end. It just so happens that this weekend was National Tight End Day on Sunday. Now, before I get into the winner, I want to talk a little bit about how some people think that because you get a great spot, or you get metaphorically, if you get the fastest car in the race, that pretty much means you're going to win. And that isn't always so. One of the main people I talk about when I bring up that metaphor, if you have the fastest car, you're going to win, is Tom Brady. When I think about when he came into the Patriots, the team that, I got to say, Drew Bledsoe built up. He worked really, really hard. He had it hard as the first overall pick, getting the crap kicked out of him until that team was finally a contender worthy of going to the title. And then what happened? Tom Brady got the keys to the fastest car in the race, but he went on to have pretty much the greatest career in the history of football, so it worked out in his case. Doesn't always work out that way. Case in point, the Dallas Cowboys. They have always had tons of talent. No reason to lose, right? There are other teams where you don't necessarily need all the pieces. Like, look at the 85 Bears. That's also considered one of the greatest teams. You could say the 85 Bears is the greatest NFL team ever. And some people are going to agree with you. They didn't really have a quarterback. They had a guy named Jim McMahon. If you didn't know who that quarterback was, everyone knows Mike Ditka and Mike Singletary and Walter Payton and the Fridge. That quarterback was Jim McMahon. He was not that good. He was just good enough. Same with Trent Dilfer and the Buccaneers in 2002. He was just good enough to not blow it. But it's not always the case. Like I said, the Cowboys have always had tons of talent. They still do. I think they might finally have that missing piece in Dak, but we'll see. The reason I bring it up is because the winner this week is an Oakland Raiders tight end, and the first thing you're probably thinking of is, wait a minute, that's Darren Waller. That guy is a certified baller. He is one of the best tight ends in the NFL. He didn't play this week. His backup, Moreau, is the one winning the award this week. He was a 5th round pick back in 2019, and he had to hang around behind Darren Waller. Granted, that's a pretty good mentor, kind of the same with when Rodgers had to hang back behind Brett Favre for a while. It really paid off for him. Remember how I spoke weeks back about quarterbacks having to get thrust into the spotlight these days? Back in the day, it wasn't so, but it worked out really well for Aaron Rodgers. I think no one's going to look back and say, man, they should have started him right out of the gate, because those 2 years he spent under Favre really paid off for him. But anyway, Forrest Moreau, you think he's going to go into the situation like he should have it in the bag. Not everyone does it. Like I just said, sometimes you can have everything in place and it doesn't work out. It worked out for him because he's a great player. And what did he do? He had 6 catches for 60 yards. And they were all on 6 targets. None of them were ever incomplete or intercepted, dropped, what have you. He caught all the passes that went his way. And let's look at his 6 catches, all right? Because one of them was a touchdown, which obviously is always helpful, right? 3 of them, okay, take the touchdown away, you got 5 left. 3 of them were for first downs, including a 3rd and 12. And when a tight end does that, that's going to be a real versatile guy. Tight ends that you rely on to get that 3rd and 12. You're talking about the Travis Kelce's, historically the Tony Gonzalez, the Antonio Gates, the playmakers. Like one of my favorite tight ends, I'm a Steelers fan, was Heath Miller. He wasn't always that 3rd and 12 go-to guy, and he was a solid tight end. He was about as solid as they get. He wasn't that kind of playmaker. This guy's showing that he can be. He's catching every pass that went his way, 3 first downs and a touchdown. He's doing exactly what's required of him. It's what's required of a playmaker. The person that he's covering for, Darren Waller, that guy is a certified playmaker for the Raiders, and for Derek Carr, who's also having a great year so far as the Raiders quarterback. They're 5-2, leading the West, where the Chiefs are really bringing up the rear, 3-4. I don't know if they're getting a Super Bowl hangover. Mahomes is on his 2nd Madden cover. He beat it the first time, but maybe the jinx is coming around second time for him. But yeah, when you have a situation that's meant for a playmaker, and then you have the backup come in, and it's like Raiders offense didn't lose a beat. Foster Moreau comes in, and the Las Vegas offense doesn't lose a beat, and they win the game against the Eagles, which was meant to be a pretty big game. So he put all that together. 5th round pick, who's been riding the bench, and he's put in the position not just to cover the tight end spot, but to do what a playmaker is supposed to do. Then you see the game he had, the stats, the first downs, the touchdown. You got to say,
this cat can ball, man.
On the topic of giving credit to other players, there's one thing I want to add that I saw. I was on the Instagram the other day, and while I was going through it, I saw an Instagram that looked like this. And I thought, you know what, that's really good for them to promote the guys like PJ Walker and Taylor Heineke. And I really wish someone would do that. I wish someone may have done that maybe last year.
Philip PJ Walker Jr.,
Washington football team quarterback, Taylor Heineke. See, I'm ahead of the curve, people. I already knew that these guys could ball. And I told you guys, well, back then I had about 10 subscribers. But I told you guys that these guys could ball. And now they're finally catching up to me. See? Follow me, I'll tell you who. Next thing you know, these guys are going to be coming around next year and telling you that Foster Moreau can ball. And I'm like, I'm here telling you now, all right? Anyways, that's the show for this week. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Interaction is always the way I'm going to improve. Be sure to click the bell to be alerted when these come out. They do come out after the week wraps up. But in case you forget about it, make sure the bell will alert you. Again, one more time, like, subscribe, comment. I am Omar, and I will see you guys next week.